Sound of Money with Santosh Sirur.
So Pramod, hi, good to have you on the Sound of Money podcast, Finternet special as I call it. Pramod, as the Prime Minister says, the Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and Sabke Saath, you have your digital public infrastructure, the DPI, Sabka DPI. Did you ever imagine you Nandan would ever come to such a situation where it would be literally anybody on this planet Earth would get access to it?
Yes, again, Santosh, pleasure to be here. And I hear you are career jockey, podcaster. So Sanmesh, I had introduced, and it's fantastic to be here and speaking about Finternet and DPI and everything else that we want to talk about today.
Yeah.
To answer your question, I don't think any one of us. I joined Nandan in 2009, around late June, early July, when the announcement was public that he's taking on as the chairman of the UID. Then it was called UID. It was not called Aadhaar Identity Project. Then I volunteered. I quit my job later in a month. Then continued to volunteer for that. So it was while we were very clear of the purpose of identity and what identity means to a society, and a society that is much to be aspired to create inclusion, and we know that's been a holy grail for everyone to have bank account and everyone to be visible in the system. It's a question of dignity, right? Existence question. Identity is an existential question. And so we were clear about that project and the potential impact of that. And we were obviously inspired by that. And that's why we rally behind Nandan in one sense to make that happen. But the ripple effect of what the Aadhaar effect, subsequent effect was completely unimaginable. As we went on to build, Aadhaar-based payments. Then in 2014, we were designing eSign, DigiLocker, and UPI all in the same year. 2015, we launched DigiLocker and eSign and piloted UPI. 2016, UPI was launched. And then subsequently, account aggregator, ONDC, now in the commerce, agri stack, and health stack, and energy stack. Now we are building in the energy sector. It's just been just sort of a dream run. For the whole of India.
Absolutely. In fact, just about a day back, I happened to visit a college event in Mumbai, and they were having their own version of the Shark Tank. I happened to be one of the judges. One of the most interesting aspects came just a 17-year-old girl from Mumbai. She is very active on Instagram, and what she's done is she's selling these crochet products, right? And the beauty of it is, and you'll be amazed to know, she actually hails from a village from Uttar Pradesh, and the entire village community in that village is basically the women of those in that village are doing all the crochet products for her.
Amazing.
She is just 17 years. And she has got orders, lakhs of rupees from lots of corporates in India. So you see that whole journey. And can you even imagine that you guys were probably thinking of it? How she's brought this whole entire community, and there's so much of demand for those products. And these ladies are who otherwise would do nothing, as she told us, are now so busy with orders. So
I think what India has shown is in the last decade is that once you formalize the society. They were entirely informal. Nobody had a portable identity. Nobody had a bank account. Everything was cash. There's no trail of any opportunity. There's no trail of what you do. There's no trail of transactions you do. That means you're perpetually in a low performing equilibrium. You're stuck there. And that formalization brought everybody into a formal economy where you are the center of that node in that large mesh of network, and in that node you are accumulating. You have an identity. You are accumulating your assets. You are accumulating your payment trails. You are accumulating your job trail. Everything is in a digital way that allows you literally a digital resume. And on top of that, we are now opening up the opportunity access and access to work, access to business. ONDC is precisely trying to do that, right, through a decentralized fabric, commerce fabric. We are able to bring everybody to be able to provide opportunity and access to market, access to knowledge, access to capital and financing, and access to other products that you and I traditionally took granted and took advantage of. Now a billion people can access to it, and you combine this with young India, aspirational young India. It's a deadly combination. A young population with lots of opportunity, but India continues to. I mean, You saw the anthropic effect in the last few days. The world is extremely rapidly changing, and it's constantly morphing itself. Geopolitical structures are changing. Job structures are changing. What you study in school or college, by the time you finish your BSc or computer science or MCA, those kind of courses, you are actually not even wanted by the industry.
Exactly.
And it's just, 5 years ago you were wanted. 5 years later, this industry seemed to be at an existential or question we are asking as a software industry. So I think it just continues to create, while it continues to create change and continues to create, in one sense, problems as we see. I think India is very unique because of the young nature of Indian population and Indians' hunger to adapt. This is why Indians are everywhere globally, and we can adapt into variety of situations. I think that Indians' adaptability and hunger, and young India continues to be our hope. And the 17-year-old it's an example of that hope. Exactly, and of that hope.
Absolutely. In fact, if you look at how Universe has plays its own role, right? You had the demon in 2016, and then you guys in the back end were working on the India stack, right? It just came in at the right time, and then it just took off, right? The last 10 years, India, be it Aadhaar, be it UPI, be it DigiLocker, DigiYatra, ONDC, so much to talk about. Did you guys ever think that in terms of scalability, right? And this is all about scale. What kind of challenges were there, Pramod, with you and Nandan and your teams? And did you ever imagine, how this would actually scale up so beautifully?
We were actually, first of all, I think Aadhaar was the first time we attempted something audacious, giving identity for 1 billion people. And that too, Nandan had promised then the Prime Minister 600 million Aadhaars in 5 years. And 5 years was his political, in one sense, appointment. His appointment was 5 years, and you knew the next election, God knows what's going to happen, right? And it's exactly what happened. It played out that way in 2014. But nevertheless, and he knew the first 6 to 8 months or nearly a year would go in the honeymoon period. Like you're getting started, you don't even have an office, you have not even recruited the bureaucrats. And the last 6 months are anyway busy election campaigning for the next election.
Correct.
So he internally literally said, we have 4 years at best. 4 years to get to 600 million, half the country. And if you get to half the country, that's an escape velocity. That gives you enough escape velocity that it gets hard to undo after that.
True.
By the next party.
Exactly.
So, and that challenge, that was, in one sense, we were inspired, but also it was daunting. 600 million meant at least 1 million people every day standing in line.
Imagine.
And enrolling.
Wow.
So scalability meant not technological scalability alone, right? So of course, technology has to scale. That's taken for granted. And, as chief architect of Aadhaar and, many of the other systems, we came from technological background. So we were reasonably confident of scaling the technology in a frugal way. And it also had to be frugal because it's all inside the government. You don't want another blow up of billions of dollars being spent on something that doesn't subsequently result in good value. So we were very frugal, but we were confident. But India's scaling also meant societal scaling, bureaucratic scaling, policy scaling, rollouts, because India's diversity of language diversity, economic diversity, education diversity, rural urban diversity, connectivity diversity, everything meant that we had to reimagine the entire model of how Aadhaar would get delivered. And that's why we had only roughly about 50 people in the technology team entirely, including the outsourced vendors.
Yeah.
We were about that time, the first few years, we were about 50, 60 people. And the entire organization was about 150 people. But 150 people, about a handful of us in the system, technology system, 10 people in the technology team with another 30, 40 people from the software vendor side. We could literally get to 1 billion people, and we were enrolling 1.5 million people every day. And we go to 1 billion people in 5.5, 6 years. So by the time Nandan exited, he promised 600 million. And when he exited, it was 620 million or 630 million. Wow. So it was amazing that. So what it proved, in one sense, what it proved to us is that a small team of people with extreme focus and clarity, can actually transform and deliver at 1 billion people scale. We can do this. More than anything, Aadhaar instilled such confidence in everybody that nowhere in the world something like this has done. This is the first time in the world, and we actually pulled off. And the eventual cost of Aadhaar was $1 per person, and this is just cheapest in the world, cheapest by far in the world. And we actually executed, including everything, technology scale, implementation scale, and with 150 people in the organization. So it just, I think more than anything, our takeaway by 2014 was that we were so bullish. They said, "My God, this is a handful of people literally can reimagine the country." If need be, if we can align political alignment, if we can get societal benefit, because nothing beats actual value unlock in the life of individuals. True. If you unlock value in the lives of individuals, there is no going back, and Indians will suck it in. And exactly that played out in UPI. I can still remember parliamentary debate about, uneducated people, how can a woman in rural area do anything? Look, they are the people exactly doing
actually.
It's just crazy. And because you and I probably use credit cards and other things as well, but the UPI effect subsequently, and the DigiLocker today has reached nearly 600 million users with world's largest verifiable document system, with driver's license and education certificates, everything going there. It's been, I think what it believed is that you can actually do, you can scale. Your question about scale. You can scale socially, you can scale technologically, program point of view, you can actually scale if only few things fall in place. True. Point number one, clarity of what you're trying to do. Point number one. And point two, clear value unlock to the beneficiary. Absolutely. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what you do. It's not going to be, people are not idiots. People know it, and at country scale, it won't get picked up if there's no real value unlocked in the lives of people. And the third, minimalism. And the fourth, that you build a massive ecosystem that is also benefiting on top of your infrastructure. So I think these four learning, and then fifth is of course policy and political alignment. If you can get these five things fall in place, magic unfolds. India has repeatedly shown that we underestimate Indians. We completely underestimate Indians' ability to transform themselves and actually adapt to newer systems like UPI in no time. And I think it's just it gives a lot of confidence that if we have the right people and the right vision and these five ingredients falling in place, we can continue to do this for higher order, like agriculture, healthcare, commerce, energy sector, and gig sector, blue collar sector. You can just repeat. This is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, talking about UPI and the success, right from somebody who that guy who knocks on your window door and wants to sell a newspaper, to a panwala on some wall somewhere there is the UPI. You can scan it, to a temple you go and lady who sells flowers. I mean, this is amazing.
Or you can donate to God.
Absolutely.
When God takes QR codes,
correct.
UPI. So
correct. And the very interesting when I go to Pune, there's some boards I remember when I go to an ice cream shop for my daughter. It says no cash accepted. Unthinkable in India, right? So how did this whole UPI story come to the fore? And any interesting?
I think So this is in the backdrop of Aadhaar. We are in 2013.
Yeah.
And 2013, we were already nearly, I think, about 400 million people number. We were cruising well by then. 1.5 million people getting enrolled every day. By then, DBT had the early experiments on DBT, cooking gas, and pension scholarships had begun. The previous version of the Jan Dhan was a supercharger by Prime Minister Modi. But before that, they had already begun the early trials of what's called no frill account. At that time, it was called no frill bank account.
Zero balance, correct.
Yeah, so no cards, no checkbooks, nothing. It's, you could keep very, it's like in one sense, it's like a mobile wallet account for up to 10,000, 20,000 rupees, but banks offering it.
Yeah.
So it was that had already begun. This is the backdrop. In 2013 in, Kormangala, literally in, Bangalore, Dilip Asbe, NPCI CEO currently, the mastermind behind UPI execution. He executed it so brilliantly. And he had come down. So Nandan Nilekani and myself, we were in the room. We were just brainstorming. And we were, obviously the trends were clear to us because Paytm was already starting to do well. Paytm Karo and all the campaign at that time. MobiQuick. You already started doing these wallets playing a QR code game because China had already shown by then, Alipay, WeChat, that the QR code payments are going to take over pretty much. But they all had a different model. They didn't have an interoperable payment infrastructure. Each wallet was doing a, sort of walled garden, closed loop payment, not an open loop payment. Even China didn't have an open loop payment. WeChat had their own, Alipay they had their own. So you had to have two apps to a QR code like that, So but they all demonstrated to us that what the future of payments could be. So in 2013, Nandan, Dilip, and I were brainstorming this idea that India, if we were to do a QR code based anywhere, anytime payment, we must apply the openness argument. We were not calling it DPI then, digital public infrastructure then. That terminology came later during the G20. But we had clarity of how it could be designed, and we were very clear. If we were to design in India, we will design an interoperable infrastructure that allows any bank, any app, anywhere, anytime sort of movement, any to any. We wanted that any to any interoperability, and we said, let's do it. Let's do it. The three of us came out of that room. Literally, I wish we had the photo of the board. I don't think we have the photo of the board. But then came out of the room, and about six months later, and we kept coming back to the same topic. Sometimes we discuss some of these, and we don't follow up because we had enough other. We have Aadhaar was cruising, everything was going on well. But three of us kept coming back to this, and then I prepared a deck, the first deck of UPI, basically the first PPT. And the title of the PPT was Unified Payment Interface.
Okay, that's the name now. No brand per se.
That became the name. NPCI didn't rebrand it. They kept using the same name. And now today, what is in a name? Everybody knows UPI.
Completely.
So, but it was called Unified Payment Interface. And Dilip organized, in one sense, a closed door. Lot of senior leadership and forward-looking financial, some of the people in that from Mumbai. From the banking sector, from the tech sector, few people came into MCA by Cricket Club. MCA, we had taken a room there. We took a hall, BKC hall, and let's present this to everybody and let's see what the reaction is. And then the first UPI deck was presented, and then Dilip spoke, and we all brainstormed a little bit. And there was, in general, there was tremendous readiness and realization that if India were to move forward, giving everybody a bank account is not enough. The velocity of money, and the extreme nature of cash economy needs to be tackled by such a payment rail that can drive innovation, but move money as seamless as moving message on WhatsApp. So we literally said money should move the way messages are moving today in the internet.
So that was your problem statement.
That was a problem statement. Yeah.
Wow.
And we said, and we called it unified because, and I said, if you have to unify merchants, government, P2P, P2M, it doesn't matter. Money is money is money. It should move from any stored value to any stored value. As simple as my movement. And of course, we said QR code is a means to achieve that, but it doesn't need QR code. UPI doesn't need QR code.
Yeah.
QR code is the most popular way to scan it, but you can do it everywhere. And then by the time post that presentation, we were very enthused by the support we were getting from the initial ecosystem. And then I went back onto the drawing board with somebody from NPCI. He's still there, called Satish, brilliant guy. He works in the UPI team. He heads the UPI team on the engineering side. And so Satish, myself, and then Sanjay Jain, we were all three of us huddling in a room, literally to create the UPI protocol, the UPI core design. Yeah. Then we presented that again in Mumbai, and then we did a Bangalore, Taj, very famous. We did a good workshop there. So Rahul and Samir, PhonePe guys all showed up there.
Yeah.
They had exited Flipkart.
Okay.
They had just set up a fintech company. And so we sort of, in one sense, I suppose, conned them, or told them to say maybe you should play the UPI game.
Yeah.
And what a game they played.
Amazing.
Amazing. UPI. PhonePe is one of the early guys who literally made this happen.
Yeah.
And then of course Axis Bank early days, Yes Bank then, a few banks moved faster. And of course the big banks came later. And there is, as you said, while demo or subsequently COVID pushed the digitization a lot more.
Yeah.
I think brave people are also lucky.
Yeah.
I always view just being bold, audacious. Also, you land in a lot of luck. I think that's what you learn, and it's all serendipity. It all plays out well. But in 2016 was also the Geo 4G effect, Geo launch.
Absolutely.
Right,
So everything coming together, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. How was it easy or challenging convincing the regulator, RBI for that matter, when you guys were working on the UPI?
See, anywhere you will see a spectrum of people who would get very excited to complete disbeliever. Okay, so who will say, we don't need it, we already have IMPS, we already have RTGS, we have enough card net, why do we need it? We have no such problems. What problems are you going to solve? This won't work. Indians won't work. This won't have many reasons why nothing works. That is one side of the side. The other side, people saying, it's not about working. Some people believe we ought to make it happen. If India were to develop ourselves, it is not about whether will it work, should it work. It's a question of we have to find a way to make it happen. So there are some people who are on that positive side of the spectrum. Some people are very conservative side of the spectrum. But that's real world. That's what we see everywhere. Whether you take Aadhaar to anybody, there'll be people who don't believe it. They say, why do you need one more ID? What's going to happen? What is the use of some plastic? As if poverty is going to go, as if nothing is going to happen, as if roads are going to improve. So there are people who are in extreme conservative, negative mindset, but half empty glass versus half full. So you come across them all the time, and nothing wrong, right about any of this. A society like us will have a combination of all these people. Absolutely. So I think the question was to go after the people who are believers, to allow us to do a pilot. And what Nandan always says this in a very powerful phrase, and he says, the vision has to be ambitious, but the actions ought to be calibrated.
So that's a beautiful
ambitious vision, calibrated action. Because if actions are uncalibrated, it can blow up. People can lose money. It can be cybersecurity issues. It can just completely mess up. But visions can't be constrained. Vision ought to be 10-year, 20-year vision. It has to be audacious and ambitious. But then you calibrate your steps towards that vision. And I think we needed those few leadership in RBI and in the banking sector who would say, China has shown this working. India needs it. We have no merchant payment. Merchant payments were completely broken. Only cards, right? Cards or cash. And cards were only 22 million people. Credit cards, at that time. Even now probably 100 million people have 100 million credit cards are there. But at 1.4 billion people scale, we knew cards are not the way to go. So we needed mobile is pervasive. Mobile connectivity is coming, 4G is coming. So we had to find those early leadership who can see the pathway to the future and who would support you in taking calibrated actions.
Yeah, that's crucial. Yeah.
So absolutely. That's what happened. And we did get very good support.
Yeah, very good. I also wanted to know a little more about this Beckn protocol, right? What exactly is it and how does it impact or influence?
Very interesting question. So what did UPI show us? That you can move money from any stored value account to any stored value account instantly from anywhere to anywhere, any app to any app, any bank to any bank. Today, credit card can be attached to UPI. Stored, credit overdraft accounts can be attached.
Correct.
So it doesn't matter the source of fund. It doesn't matter the destination. You can move. But it showed only one narrow spectrum of what can be moved in a real life. Narrow spectrum of money. So after UPI success in 2018, we were starting to imagine if UPI can move money from anywhere to anywhere, app to app, any platform to any platform, any bank to any bank, anytime, using mobile, without using mobile, why are we not able to move other forms of economic value or economic assets? Other forms, like if I have a product to sell, if I'm an artisan, like the crochet example, if I'm doing a crochet product, why am I not able to move that services or goods or anything of economic value? Why can't I exchange that economic value with any counterparty in real time?
True.
So we asked this question and that gave birth to Beckn protocol. So Beckn protocol and the Beckn effort, the entire Beckn fabric allows any individual or SME to move any product or any service or anything of economic value in one sense instantly to a counterparty.
Wow.
In a peer-to-peer manner. It's peer-to-peer, and that's literally decentralized manner. So we were thinking if individuals and SMEs are at the center of this development agenda, and if they have an account, if they have money in their account, if they have assets in their account, if they have products to sell, if they have something to offer, then any counterparty, I should be able to discover a counterparty, establish trust, negotiate, and exchange, contract and exchange and fulfill. And I can now imagine all kinds of possibilities. For example, I can find like a farmer, if I'm a farmer, and if I have products to sell, I should be able to find anyone who wants to buy my product. In an open networked bazaar. I can always go to a platform and sell it, like an Amazon. I can go to a platform. But Beckn creates a network topology, not a platform topology. It's not a centralized platform.
Got it.
There's no centralized platform. It is a decentralized network of platforms that can allow users to interchange any value. Today, Beckn is used for mobility rights. And you have heard Namayatri, Bharat Taxi, Yatri effect. That has kicked in, that allows drivers and riders like us to discover each other and book a ride and fulfill that ride with no centralized platform.
Wonderful.
Okay. So we did mobility, then ONDC came. ONDC pushed that boundary beyond mobility to Kirana commerce, to agriculture, to logistics, the logistics player in food delivery, everything now in a decentralized way, multi-platform interoperable way. And then last year, we also saw Beckn being adopted very heavily in both in energy sector and agriculture sector. So the energy sector is even more interesting that we are if you have a rooftop solar, we're just doing the pilot right now. Energy Ministry is going through a pilot that allows you and I or any lady in that village with a solar roof to sell energy to anyone.
Wow.
So energy is like money. or goods, I can just
like a goods.
yeah.
So
I can, if I'm producing energy, I can sell it in the open market.
Yeah.
So very, very interesting possibilities emerge when you create a fabric that allows anyone to exchange goods or value to anyone else in a decentralized fashion. So Beckn is pushing that idea. And of course, Finternet is pushing this, the other side of the coin, where how do I own all forms of assets? That's what Finternet is driving. Finternet is giving every individual in the world a ledger of their own. So every individual and every SME will have the ledger of their own, in which I can tokenize and own all forms of economic assets. And the Beckn is the other side of the coin. Once I have all the forms assets, how do I find a counterparty? How do I trust a counterparty? How do I negotiate? How do I contract? And how do I fulfill those exchanges? So one is about individuals and SMEs owning the asset. The other one is about exchanging those assets.
So it's a great point. You came up with this topic of Finternet, and it is so much exciting. In fact, as you know, I was telling you, I have a couple of Finternet guests on my podcast. Excellent. It started off with Siddharth. So what I understand is that just like internet is more about, the Netflix and the content piece, right? And I understand Finternet is more about the value of exchange. If I have to put it in simple words, where do you see this going? And in a couple of years, what's the vision you guys have when it comes to Finternet?
So it's a larger vision between Finternet and Beckn. And this is a very interesting vision of what we call creating an internet of value. And this is not internet of content. So today, if you look at if you look at the internet, you will see millions of web servers, content nodes and application nodes, machines exchanging content. But what it did not do is that internet never had a concept of an individual identity or individual ownership of data or individual ownership of assets. It was about exchanging content. It came up, World Wide Web and all came up with that, just to move packets, TCP IP, then subsequently HTTP and web, World Wide Web, with HTML pages moving. We of course, they're all programmable. So people can build apps on top of the internet as well to move, do transactions. But what it did not give you and I or SMEs a first-class existence on the internet. We were all behind the scene. If you look at the internet fabric itself, you'll see machines exchanging content
information
via HTTP, information via HTTP, right? What we are doing is saying, in the new world, we must not only have the internet, obviously internet needs to be there as a core fabric, but every individual and SME and every agent in the AI world, every object in the IoT world, every should have a first-class identity and coexistence and trustworthy identity to exist. And then every asset they own should be including their own data and including their own credential, including, of course, the money and property and traditional assets should be in their hands. If that happens, you can see the same picture of internet, but instead of web servers, it's you and I, all you and I and our agents, AI agents and so on. They become the first-class nodes on that network, and then they should be able to actually handshake each other, trust each other, discover each other, negotiate and fulfill contracts, transactional contracts. Transaction could be for buying and selling. Transaction could be for obtaining a job. Transaction could be for lending money against an asset. You might be lending against an asset. You might be investing into an asset. So you can do trade, investing, lending, all kinds of interactions that these individuals and SMEs businesses will do. We are enabling that layer without creating a centralized platform.
Okay.
So how can you create? We believe there will be thousands of platforms, thousands of systems that will all enable individuals, but individuals should be at the center of that new internet, where that new internet that allows economic exchange between everyone, not only content exchange. information exchange, but economic exchange between. So Finternet is about tokenizing all forms of assets in the hands of the user. And Beckn is about exchanging any form of assets between the two users.
Yeah, that's a great difference. Very clear. And I believe Finternet goes beyond
Beckn
India,
is a
right?
state. Beckn is about statelessness. Beckn has no state.
Yeah.
It simply allows individuals to discover each other and exchange. Finternet has a state. It allows you to be you to own all the whole state. Finternet allows you to own your own memory.
Wow.
Think of that way.
Imagine,
your footprints, your digital assets, your data, your footprints, your memory is owned by you.
Wonderful. And Finternet goes beyond India, right? Because you have Finternet labs across the world.
Finternet and Beckn are global effort. Both of them are global effort. These both missions, Beckn and Finternet, are housed under a non-profit network of global labs called Networks for Humanity, NFH. NFH houses, and we have 4 labs across the world. And NFH houses these 2 core missions. One to everyone to have their own control of their assets, and want to exchange those assets, Beckn and Finternet. And we are driving global efforts. India has, of course, continued to be a great playground because of the DPI background
structure
and DPI readiness. India is very ready to try all these things. But we have projects in Indonesia, Southeast Asia, Brazil, UK, Pacific Islands, in the US. So we have many projects that are kicking in around the world.
And as you rightly say, India is way ahead, rather ready for that. What about the other countries and other countries? Are they up to there, or take some
absolutely
time?
No, India is not alone. While India has shown tremendous hunger and political will and market readiness in one sense and societal readiness to leapfrog, and we have leapfrogged it very well. We have much to do, much more to do. We have only, if I were to call, India has done only formalization. It was a formalization decade. But we have not unlocked aspirations. We are moving into an aspiration decade where we have to unlock the 17-year-olds and the lady in the village, and we have to unlock opportunity for them. If you don't unlock financial opportunities, economic opportunities, study opportunities, learning opportunities, skilling opportunities, if you don't unlock it, we'll just have a blowback from the society. India has much to do, but we also see Southeast Asia, LATAM, countries in LATAM like Brazil, they're all very, very, very similar to India, and few countries even in Africa is very similar to India, setting themselves up very well for this transformation. We only wish that these countries are also, if they are also blessed with both policy and political readiness, and also market readiness. If you have no private market at all in that country, it is very, very hard to pull off things like this. Much of our DPI success came out of private sector embracing, including your bank, embracing the DPI, right? So large banks and private sector, startups, everybody embracing. So without the private sector and without the political and policy will, this won't happen. So several countries like LATAM countries, few of the African countries, Southeast Asian countries are absolutely ready and doing it. They're doing very well. So we are seeing those areas at the large adoption. But with Finternet and Beckn, interestingly, unlike the foundational DPI, where we played with identity and payment, when you go to developed market, we don't see a much need for an identity and payment because it's mostly covered, universal already there. Different forms. It's not exactly similar, but different forms. But we see Beckn and Finternet playing even in UK, US, Singapore, Japan, or Middle East. If you develop places as well, you will see much interest in economic velocity. They all, while they don't need an ID problem or
the base is taken care of.
They still need economic velocity, the domestic velocity and cross-border velocity to happen. Especially given the geopolitical unraveling that is going on. Everybody is saying, we have to take care of ourselves, and we have to create our own domestic vibrancy. So everybody is very clear that their domestic market needs to be also tackled, and the velocity of those economic exchange, economic interaction need to be boosted. So Finternet and Beckn is merely to boost and accelerate that economic velocity, nothing more.
Yeah, yeah. I also want to know your views on AI,
Yes, of
where there is so much of discussion and debate and so much of social media hoopla around artificial intelligence. Whilst there is equally an important when it comes to we Indians, the Apna intelligence that works, right? So where do you see AI and the kind of concern, if I may say so, that's been put across social media about jobs and its, where do you see this going ahead?
I think there are few, again, half full, half empty, different ways to, peel the same onion. I think it's just there is no question in our mind, quite like the way we saw electricity completely changing how humanity, then industrial revolution, automobile and so on, just machines
Completely,
kicking in at a different level, horses disappearing in 5 years, with the automobile effect. We saw factories and that growth through the First World War, Second World War, Post World War phase. Then we saw the information revolution, the internet, literally giving a step function change. Now, all this brings good and bad.
True.
In 1930s, we have seen recessions. We have seen factories having strike against factories, automation. The famous Charlie Chaplin movie, Modern Times, was clear takeoff on the extreme automation of the factory, and human beings are being like a robot. And he shows that in that movie. We are just being robots, machines. It's just at the speed at which the factories are working. So I think societal angst, societal pushback, societal disruptions, job disruption has occurred in the history before. It's not that it has not occurred many times. Even with the internet, it has happened. It will happen now. AI we are clearly that electricity moment, of humanity. We are at that moment where AI is going to change, and it's going to be everywhere. Why we thought software and digital is everywhere, AI is going to be even more everywhere. Okay, and it is not one thing. It is not like automobile or car. It is diffused into everything you will see.
Aspect of life.
Your camera in your house, your fridge in your house, your car, your inverter, your batteries, everything will have an AI piece of it, right? So AI in payments, in banks. So I think AI is going to be much more diffused and everywhere, pervasive. Now, what if you really look at countries like India, how much of Indian society is in the white collar jobs? Very little. 50-60% into agriculture.
Correct.
Still old style agriculture. We brought tractor, sure. But that's about it. Our agriculture practices are still quite old, outdated. This is why and also they're all micro. We are a large country with micro economy. Everything is micro for us. Farms have become 1 acre. Literally that's all you are left with. So there's no economy of scale in the large company sense. So India is at a low productivity, low formalization, and low education world. Even with this DPI effect, while we have brought it into the formal society, we have brought everybody into giving them dignity and bank account and ID and everything else. If you really look at the economy, between agriculture, blue collar, white collar, services, job, very little to be disrupted. So my personal take, now I might be naive in this, people might look and say, he doesn't get it, but I think AI is going to actually help India at large, at macro level. At micro, my daughter might lose job. Okay. In 1 year, she might lose a job because she might be in some tech industry or whatever it may be. So at micro, you will see huge angst of job loss of software engineers, job loss of accountants, sort of a white collarish desk job. Okay, think of the desk. I think that will be the first impact. The last impact is agriculture, blue collar workers, and grey collar. There is no way we are going to have for at least 10 years robots doing gardening. Okay, for a long term, because of the price barrier, cost barrier, affordability barrier, and that many robots and that many things. General purpose robots will require so much more chips and electricity and everything else. We don't have that kind of supply yet there to deal with it. Physical, but software will bring, because software has no distribution cost, right? It gets very, very fast. So it'll get immersed into spreadsheets and emails. So you will see the white collar. Now that is unfortunate because Indians are desperately taught
to be a white collar job.
To get the freaking out of your physical job to behind the desk. Because when a child is somehow a graduate and goes behind the desk, it's seen as a pride factor. So we taught them to mug up, taught them to get marks, taught them to remember stupid things and somehow reproduce lots of clerical. So I do worry. As an individual, I worry about a short-term disruption in that sector where the middle class might get a little bit jammed. The middle class who barely got out of into a good job of their child, first job maybe, second generation, first generation. They are the people who get first affected, unfortunately. Okay. So we might have a little bit of that, but what gives me hope? But like plumbers and carpenters and gardeners and kheti guys, agriculture guys, don't have to worry about it for a while. Okay. AI is not coming in their way. So it won't be a macro problem, but it will create significant angst and outcry from the society of middle class losing jobs. And that's a very bad setup because the entire education is set up to create middle class. Okay.
Exactly.
So we have a little bit of a problem there in our hands. What I'm hopeful though is that India is very young. Indians are very young. And Indians have over centuries and centuries. We have shown we are extremely adaptable. And so one culture that has adapted to every shit thrown at us. Okay,
absolutely.
I'm sorry to use that word, but everything that has gone in our society, invading, rechanging, colonization, to everything thrown at us, horrendous stuff thrown at us, we have adapted through.
True.
If you look at the macro, I adapt. Indians are very, 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 our DNA is peculiarly built to adapt. I think we are never in a comfortable state. We are constantly battling. Even in our mind, we are fighting. This is why we don't stand in queue. We go fight. Right?
Correct.
We are resource starved, fighting for things. In our mental model, we are not at all comfortable. We are fighting every day. I think that gives us hope that we will fight it through. We will find a way to create different types of work, different types of entrepreneurship, like the 17-year-old doing. And I think if India can support micro entrepreneurship, millions of entrepreneurs, creating one or two jobs of themselves. So we'll have a million small companies with 2 people working for them. Literally, instead of one mega company with 1 million people working for them. Those days are gone. Okay, those days are gone. So I think we have to shift our mind from mugging up an exam results to application skills, applicable skills. And that means adaptability, learnability, applicability of those skills. And we must move away from jobs to entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship. I think that's the key underlying.
That if you can, and this is a responsibility on the government as well. Indian government still much we are doing, and we Prime Minister onwards. I think there is significant push for deregularization, ease of doing business, decriminalization. All that thing is going on. But you know what? We throw hundreds and hundreds of rules and paperwork at the entrepreneurs. If you want to be a small businessman with the 10 people in your company, the amount of paperwork that you have to go through, bureaucracy after bureaucracy, it is insane. Okay, and then after all that thing, some labor guy saying attendance register kahan hai? Really, today everybody is working remotely. What attendance register?
Correct.
No, but you are violating a law because somewhere it says you have to maintain an attendance register. Things like that. We are not unclogged our pipe.
So that cohesiveness is not coming in. I think that joining.
Just let people, if they are driving business and paying tax, let them just do it. As long as they're not doing criminal, they're not selling drugs or selling kids or drugs or some junk, illegal shit. The people should be allowed to do freely.
True.
Businesses freely with least compliance and regulatory overheads. If you go to start a company in a day, simple extremes, all if everything is digital, I don't need compliance. What's called compliance without explicit compliance. What it means is that continuous compliance. That means if I'm doing payment to UPI, if I'm doing, why do I need to comply anymore?
Agree. I
have all my invoices. I have all my payments. So compliance by continuous compliance. That means what you would normally do is automatically complying rather than this extra overhead of custom filing for customs and GST, and if I'm an exporter, then all those paperwork, and then local labor law and this and trade licenses and 100 licenses I have to obtain. I have to renew the licenses, and then cops will show up. It's just, I think one thing India can do is to unblock the ability for youth to do what they ought to do. I mean, they just leave them alone and just let them. I think Indians will survive the AI onslaught really well. Not only really well, I think Indians will take advantage of the AI to boost their productivity and boost their ability to access knowledge and boost every form. And this will be the first time 1 billion people can speak to a computer and get work done. Because it's no more you need a computer expert to fill a form. I think AI will make form filling, language barrier, productivity barrier. I think India will break through all those productivity, language, all those barriers much faster. Indians will embrace AI tools, will embrace much faster.
That comes back to the adaptability piece, which you mentioned, right?
But we have to let youngsters do what they ought to do. I think that's what government and policymakers have, bureaucrats have a task at their hand. If you really want Viksit Bharat in 2047, you don't. What you need to do is not do more. If you do less and get out of the way, that's what you should do.
True, absolutely. I now want to talk to you a little bit about your own life. I'm sure it was a challenge when you were actually working, and what I know is you actually read some newspaper headline about the UDI or the Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, and that's when you connected with Nandan. Tell us the backstory about this and how did this whole start?
So I'm one of those guys who grew up in a tier 3 kind of town where it's a very tiny place. I was born in a village and grew up in literally a tiny town which had nothing.
In Kerala, right?
In Kerala, yes. And I spoke no English until I was 18 years old or 17. I not even English medium school. I spoke no English. I did not understand any of that. Of course, I learned English as a subject, but that's like some silly stories or whatever, right? You learn, you never speak it, never use it. And all my math, every education was in Malayalam. So in the sense, it was one of those days, 70s, when you grew up in 70s, right? And the best job I could have gotten is a bank manager or a government job. Literally when you come out in 80s, mid 80s, graduate, that's what you get, So I've been very lucky to be very, very, very lucky to be escaping and through again some serendipity, some reasons I'm getting opportunity, and every opportunity that came my way I embraced it. And I was only thing that I was very bold in my thinking, always been very bold, sort of a outlier in my thinking. I was always thinking into the future, wild ideas. But it was not easy without mentorship. So you need the right mentorship and right environment to actually hone in those capabilities, skills, which is what I got subsequently. So I had the chance to go study abroad, study outside, Kerala. So I learned. Literally, I was in Hyderabad. I learned Telugu. I could read and write Telugu. I was very much into. I wanted to learn the society. I wanted to learn the culture. I was always very hungry because I did not.
Was there a sportsmanship in you? Is that what brings the character?
I was very much a outgoing person. I was into outdoor sports. I was a traveler. I was a trekker. Okay. I'm a formal mountaineer, trained mountaineer. So I was out there and I love people. I love learning about them. So the lot of things that worked out in my favor. But when I think 2009, by 2005, 2000, I was in Bangalore working in 2000 from 2003. And then I was in the US. We did a startup there and so on. But I came back in 2003 because by 1990 or 1993, I was working how many years ago. In 2003, I came back. By 2009, I had a very good job in global company, CTO. But 2009, I read the newspaper. June, I read this newspaper heading, serendipity again playing out, saying, Nataraman Mohan Singh has invited Nandan and he has taken up the UID project. And I had read his Imagining India book. The book was published a year before. In 2008, he published. And he had written about what identity can do to, exist, to formalize and to include into the society. You need identity. You need to prove who you are to every system, right? Constantly. So again, midlife crisis or whatever you want to call it, in 2009 July, I thought, hey, maybe I should get in touch with Nandan and offer myself to be part of it. And Nandan asked, "Are you crazy? You're in a you're a $1 billion plus company. You're a global CTO. You're good job. Why the hell do you want to quit and volunteer for this project?" And Nandan said, "I have no guarantee because this project."
Never know.
He was also new to government and Delhi. He said, "I might also be ejected from Delhi in no time."
It's all politics, political parties. You never know.
Nothing can go. I said, "I don't care." I said, "It's okay. If you can take risk, I can also take risk. Let's go." So I offered, came in, and then I was a chief architect, became the chief architect for the project, got formalized. So, but after that, I think it as I was telling you, that was so inspiring. In one sense, can't believe even now that we such a small team with almost no spend go to 1 billion people, faster than Facebook. Go to 1 billion people. And that got so much confidence in us. And because I'm also very optimistic by design, by a very optimistic person. And I always find reasons why it should work and how can we make it work rather than other way around. We continue to go. I continue to build now. Now, obviously, makes sense for me to continue to support missions like Finternet and Beckn. So under Networks of Humanity. Before that, I've spent 10 years at Extra Foundation. Which also did fantastic job in the education sector, skilling sector. And now I'm full time with Networks for Humanity. We co-founded with Nandan. This is a more universal effort, global effort. So India continue to be a prime turf to apply some of these ideas. But we are not limited to that. We have a tremendous support and pull from few other countries as well. So hopefully next 10 years, we get to build something useful for the country, the world.
You also have an art connection in your family, right? An artist. Tell us about that. Are you inherited, and also are you an artist as well?
I am actually. So I was born in the same family as Raja Ravi Varma. The artist, the famous artist Raja Ravi Varma, who personified every mythological character for Indians first time. So how we imagine Lakshmi or Saraswati is all actually his paintings. Because until then we had no European style paintings, right? We have only had Indian, whether it's Maithili painting or Tanjore painting or miniature painting in Rajasthan. We had local art, but we had no European style personified big canvas art. So he brought that, and he was, looking back, it's amazing. Somebody correctly told me that, okay, Raja Ravi Varma democratized art, and now you're democratizing economic opportunities.
Absolutely, I was going to come to that.
He actually went on to, towards the last few years, he said, you know what, I keep painting for all these kings, and my art is locked into Baroda family and Mysore king's family, and of course Travancore family, where he was from. He was from the Travancore royal family. So, but it's all with the kings. And he said, art should not be limited to palaces.
Yeah.
Everyone ought to have access to it. And then he went to Bombay, Bombay at that time,
Imagine.
Mumbai now,
Yeah.
and to build a printing press that could print, art.
Wow.
And that's how the oleograph, the printing came up, and he printed, and that became calendars. Calendar in every home, every puja.
Those years, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, every home will have some god or goddess which is originally imagined and personified by Raja Devi Varma then.
Wonderful.
And he lived only just before 60. He passed away. It was in the early part of the 1908 or something like that. He passed away. Yeah, and it's an honor and privilege, because it's not because I did anything. Sometimes you're born in the right family, and you're lucky, and
correct.
Like Indians say, something is written in our head to do the right things in our life. But we were simple value system, and Kerala royal family is very known for it. Kerala royal family was into art, culture, literature. And if you look at the Kerala palaces, you hardly have any big palaces. There's no big mega palace. What we call palace where I was born. It's just a house. Okay, nothing much. It's called a palace because extreme simplicity. It was extreme simplicity. Belief in larger philosophical belief. A lot of philosophy. It was heavily in our life. It was instilled the philosophical upbringing that allowed us to deal with difficulties in life. You fall back on larger questions and try to get through that, right? So and all of us, because we were born in that family, I think all of us painted. My aunts, my uncle, everybody paints. I painted when I was 3. I still remember getting a first prize. 3 years old. Nursery. I drew a good strain and I won the prize. I still remember. And I kept painting, drawing, pencil drawing, watercolor, mostly in watercolor and pencil. Until through the college. But once I started working, I just didn't do anything. I never really picked it up. My daughter is is a trained artist.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, wonderful.
It's good to have art and math. They're all playing out.
Absolutely.
In your head. It's a good combination of left brain, right brain, I think.
Before I let you go, 1 or 2 last questions. Where do you see the India stack that you guys have built going ahead in the next couple of years, and the vision that you have, personal vision that because you've slogged through your way in those last couple of years, and you see the results of that. In the next 5 to 10 years, Pramod, where do you see the India ahead?
I think, as I was saying, what we did in the last decade is to bring every individual and every SME into the formal sector, so that they are in the formal economy. They are not in the informal parallel world. I think that India was very successful in achieving it. But that's not enough. Once you have the basic formalized existence, people are always asking, where do I get opportunity? I think unlocking opportunity for access to capital, access to investments, access to jobs, access to better skilling and education opportunities, access to business opportunities. These opportunities has to open up, and India's transaction fabric, it is still very fragmented. If you look at the kirana shops, or if you look at the gig workers, if you look at the farm input market, output market, we are still quite a low performing equilibrium, low trust, high cost, fragmented environments. And digital can change that, and creating a digital fabric without yet another mega platform. How can we create an internet of economy, right? Internet of value, using the same principles of decentralization, privacy preserving, user at the center design, which is what we are now hoping to achieve. And if you can do that, ONDC and all starting to show that we can starting to do that. If you can show that, the next decade would bring all these formalized people into a high velocity economic exchange environment. When that happens, you'll have a lot more domestic economy will be very vibrant. And that is a very important part of resilience.
Yeah.
We can't be only export. We can't be only import. I mean, you have to domestic economy also has to be very, very. I keep saying we have to create spendability, lendability, investability in the domestic market.
Correct.
Because if you can't spend here and lend here and invest here, everybody will go out. Anybody who makes a little bit of money will start doing outside. True. And then we'll put all the conditions that you can't take money, we'll tax you more. It's a negative cycle. Rather than a negative cycle, you want a positive cycle. That means India is so good at, I would rather invest here. India is so beautiful, I would rather spend here. I can buy any product here. Why am I buying outside? So I think if you can get spendability, investability and lendability cycle and economic vibrancy, we'll have lots of resilience, and we'll have all the young people, like the 17-year-old story you're talking about, and the women in the village otherwise would have not done nothing. They're all now starting to transact.
Yes.
Not only have ID and bank account, but they're all starting to transact. So our vision is the next 10 years, we have to create a high velocity transactive economy that allows Indians to create lots of economic interactions between them, and thus creating resilience and strength in the local domestic system. That's our hope, and that's what we think we'll do.
Absolutely. On that very, very positive note, Dr. Pramod Varma, thank you so much for being on my podcast, The Sound of Money. The Finternet special, I love it. I love to say that. Thank you.
Special. All the best. Thank
Santosh.
You so much. All the best to everyone who's listening as well. Take care.
Thank you. And well, with that, we come to the end of this episode of The Sound of Money. Another episode coming your way. Till then, with me, Santosh Sirur, and my guest, Dr. Pramod Varma. Thank you so much for being on this podcast. Bye-bye.
The Sound of Money with Santosh Sirur.